What's going on, y'all? So this is the first time. Mori, how are you? Good morning. Well, good afternoon. I'm not sure you know what time. Well, I do know. Uh, oh, good night. Good night. Because you got to be going to bed. But it's really good morning. So good morning. Good morning. Today we got YFN Lucci. I want to say Lucci. Can't Feel My Face. First time I'm reacting to a Lucci song. He put this out, what, 2 weeks ago, so we're a little bit late to the party. You probably heard this already. You probably reacted to this already. You probably done seen everybody else, but guess what? You haven't seen this reaction yet, all right? So I appreciate y'all, man. As always, like, share, sub, do all those good things. And without further ado, man, let's go ahead and get it right into this video, y'all. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I can't feel my face. Oh, no, it's so numb. I feel like a disgrace. Oh, everything I did was so wrong. I can't really feel my face. La, 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 la. All right. So I like, oh, man, I was going to say, I mean, I got a bunch of champagne bottles and shit now. I do like the holy thing to it, right? It looked like you got a preacher there, you know, waiting with the Bible and things like that. The beat kind of sounds real holy, you know, so maybe he's talking about life and things like that. I can't feel my face, maybe from all the things that I've done. So, yeah. That chain is kind of crazy, too.
Look, good time don't never last forever. Sometimes I feel like praying to the devil. Sometimes I feel like laying down, but that'll never help you. Sometimes I feel like I ain't been rewarded for my efforts.
Okay. Sometimes you might feel like that, bro, but I don't think we should ever pray to the devil. He said, you know, sometimes I feel like my efforts ain't enough. Sometimes I feel like I gotta pray to the devil. That's the first time I think I heard anybody say that. You know, there's people that worship the devil, you know, without a doubt. But yeah, that's the first time I've heard that. Sometimes I gotta pray to the devil. That's different.
Look, good time don't never last forever. Sometimes I feel like praying to the devil. Sometimes I feel like laying down, but that'll never help you. Sometimes I feel like I ain't been rewarded for my efforts.
So he says, sometimes I feel like laying down, but that'll never help you. You know, that can mean a couple things, right? So laying down, like going to sleep, laying down, like, oh yeah, go to bed and it'll get better tomorrow. You know, sometimes they don't help you. Laying down could also mean staying down, right? So like if you have a strong opinion on a topic, then, you know, laying down can also mean like, you know, you quit, you throw in the flag, you know, but that'll never help you. So I like the fact that we don't necessarily know what that means. And bars like that definitely make you question, because those are bars that, depending on the person that's listening, you can relate it to whatever it is that you're feeling, you know?
Down, but that'll never help you. Sometimes I feel like I ain't been rewarded for my efforts. This street shit done dried up, we living in the desert. This beat shit done died down, we try and get richer. I would've put my man down, but he ain't in the picture. All these other niggas mad now that they ain't in the picture. Look,
Real quick, he said I would have put my man down, but he ain't in the picture. That can also mean, you know, when you put your man down, you could, you know, hurt him. Put your man down, it can mean like, yo, like be part of what we got going on. Like, you down with us, right? I could have put my man down, jotted him down, put him on the list, but he ain't in the picture. Meaning, you know, he's no longer around due to maybe a fallout, a breakup, something like that. Or, unfortunately, you know, some of us lose some people in this life. So maybe something like that happened.
forever. Sometimes I feel like praying to the devil. Sometimes I feel like laying down, but that'll never help you. Sometimes I feel like I ain't been rewarded for my efforts.
That's fire. Sometimes I feel like I ain't been rewarded for my efforts. You know, I think sometimes we just don't gotta look for the validation. Just know that you're doing what you gotta do, right? We're here another day. You're alive, right? We living. We're making music videos, and I'm sure you've inspired a lot of people. This video alone has 5,000 subscribers. I mean, 5 million subscribers. So, you know, you shouldn't measure success off a view, but if this video had 1 view versus 1 million views, typically nowadays you look at that as the other video is more successful, you know. And if 5 million people are listening to you, bro, I think that that's a great sign of you're doing a good thing, or you're doing something that's positive in your area or your space, you know? So yeah, don't feel that way, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, bro.
This street shit done dried up, we living in the desert.
He said this street shit done dried up, we living in the desert. But I will say, everything good don't last forever, and everything bad don't last forever either. So, you know, maybe you had a really good run in the streets, but, you know, just keep it going now with the music and change it up, you know, find a different lane, you know, where the attention goes away from one thing, it's gotta go somewhere else. So just find where the attention is at now.
This beat shit done died down, we try and get richer. I would've put my man down, but he ain't in the picture. All the other niggas mad now that they ain't in the picture. Look, I can't walk around with my pole, but I gotta deal with it. Came out of jail on parole, but look, I'm still lit. I got a thick red bone that I might still hit. I got a couple old hoes that I might still hit.
I like that, 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 I like that.
Try and get richer. I would've put my man down, but he ain't in the picture.
He said, I'm still trying to get richer, right? So I'm already rich, but I'm still trying to get richer.
All the other niggas mad now that they ain't in the picture.
All of these guys is mad now because they ain't in the picture, right? Sometimes you just got to cut people off, bro. Some people do too much. Some people don't do enough. Does that make sense? And either route, you just got to cut them off, you know? And I think that those that do too much, you could control. But the ones that don't do anything at all, you can't instill anything into them, you know? So that's a toughie. That's a toughie. You decide who you want to cut off if you want to cut off anybody. But I think that the people that don't do enough, that feel like, oh, let me get a handout. Oh, yo, let me get this. Those people need to go. Now, if a person does too much, you could always tone it down. There's this beautiful saying go, you better have and not need than to need and not have. And I think that's a perfect way that we can use that phrase right there.
Look, I can't walk around with my pole, but I gotta deal with it. Came out of jail on parole, but look, I'm still lit.
So I can't walk around with my pole, but I gotta deal with it. I came out of jail on parole, but I'm still lit. You know, I've learned that when you are arrested and you come back out, people want to listen to your story, and a lot of your numbers go up a little bit more. Unfortunately, you know, we go through a bad situation, but fortunately, when you're out, we kind of are like applauding, and we want to see that you're doing good for yourself. You know, we want to see that you're doing good for yourself, so you get a little bit more publicity than you did before, you know? So, you know, and then to not being able to have your poll or any of this and that, I just say put yourself in an environment that you don't need it, right? If you aren't around people that threaten you, or if you put yourself in an environment like not going outside or at a home that nobody knows where you live, etc., then you don't necessarily need it. So that's a good way to substitute, right? Needing it, I think, you know, and just for the moment while you are on parole, because I know if you're on parole and you get caught with anything like that, you're going to go back in for the amount of time that you're on parole for. So, yeah. And then still after that, your probation is going to reset. So, it's not worth it, y'all.
I got a thick red bone that I might still hit. I got a couple old hoes that I might still hit. My face on some Wayne shit. The Glock got a switch, so I don't miss when I'm aiming. I'm the type to pull the drop out when it raining.
I'm the type to pull a drive-by when it's raining. Okay. Why rain, though? Why rain? Do you see less in the rain? Like, what the rain got to do with it? You know, that's just a question for me as a consumer. I'm just wondering. So we see like a trendy topic here, though. You see the back got the Ferrari in the back. I'm seeing that a lot of artists is doing that. They got the two cars in the back, same color, right? We just watched Vaughn went silly, and he had the same thing. He had a Ferrari on the left, and he had a Dodge on the right, same color. And he kind of got like the same thing going on here. You know, so maybe visually it's just something that statistically brings up more views or more numbers or something like that. I don't know. It has to be something like that, you know? He said, I got a thick bone that I might still hit, and I got a couple bitches that I might still hit, right?
Face on some Wayne shit. The Glock got a switch, so I don't miss when I'm aiming.
The Glock got a switch, so I don't miss when I'm aiming. So he said that, you know, he can't have the gun, but now he's saying that he got a switch, so he don't miss when he's aiming. So a little confusing, right? Because it's like, I think we should have stood on the route of staying positive, of not being able to have the gun, right? But no, here he is. He implemented a gun bar, that, in my opinion, right, listening to the song, because the song is only 2 minutes, wasn't that hard to keep out. But he felt it was necessary to add it in there, so we're just gonna say that that's a contradicting bar, because technically you don't got a gun at the moment, as you just stated. So it's like, how are you holding a gun that got a switch, you know? I'm just, being difficult here. I understand that this could be a different day, or if it came down to it, he got somebody around him that got it, that he's gonna grab it from. But I'm just saying that if you really, really, really want to be technical, this song would have been better if you stood on topic, which would have been without a gun, because you are on probation, right? So it doesn't make sense for you to say that you got a Glock with a switch that you ain't gonna miss with, because you aim it right, because it got a switch and they got a lot of bullets and things like that. So that's all.
I'm the type to pull the drop out when it raining. Misunderstood, but you wouldn't even understand it. You couldn't even stand it.
So he said misunderstood, but you wouldn't even understand me, right? I mean, you're misunderstood, right?
Problems only equal to 1 ounce. A lot of robbers, some hustle, we all scammers. Every time I walk in the hole like you handsome. Every time I walk in the booth, that's a new anthem. Okay, look, every other week in my yard, a new family. I say every other week I'm a nod with a new dancer. If I ever meet Nicki Minaj, I'm trying to blame her. Nigga, you don't want no smoke with us, we like cancer.
Okay. That was fire. I ain't gonna lie. Not the cancer part, but that was fire. I like that metaphor.
Some hustle, we all scammers.
That was kind of fire.
You couldn't even stand it. All problems only equal to 1 ounce.
Our problems only equal to 1 ounce.
A lot of robbers, some hustle, we all scammers.
A lot of robbers, side hustle, we all scammers.
Every time I walk in the hole like you handsome.
Every time I walk with a hoe like I want to say Hugh Hefner is what he was trying to say there, right? Because Hugh Hefner is like, he's known for the Playboy Mansion, but bunch of different ladies and things like that. So I'm gonna assume he meant Hugh Hefner, or that's what he said.
Every time I walk in the booth, that's a new anthem. Okay.
Every time I walk in the booth, that's a new anthem. That right there was fire, though, bro. That was a real braggadocious bar, and I respect it, because I love people that just talk their shit like that. Know that what they got is, that. So I respect that a lot.
Every other week in my yard, a new phantom.
Every other week in my yard, a new phantom. That's a car, right? So every other week in my yard, I got a new car. He's making a lot of money, right? So he's able to buy himself a couple new cars.
Every other week I'm a nod with a new dancer.
Every other week I'm Minaj with a new dancer. So Minaj is kind of like, you get together with a new dancer, like strip clubs and shit like that. A lot of artists go to a strip club, they go to a bar, and they make sure that, they come home with somebody. So, every other week I'm Minaj with a new dancer, right? So I get me a new joint. It's a flex, It's like, yo, I got a bunch of hoes, yeah, I got a bunch of them.
If I ever meet Nicki Minaj, I'm trying to blame nigga.
If I ever meet Nicki Minaj, I'm trying to blast her. I think he means like cook, like get in them guts. But I don't think he means blast, like, shoot at or anything like that,
You don't want no smoke with us, we like cancer.
And then he said, you don't want no smoke with us, we like cancer. I'm not sure if you know, but cancer gives smoke. I said that wrong. Smoke gives cancer, right? Yeah, causes cancer. So that was fire in the sense of like, he's not necessarily saying cancer is like what he actually wants. What he's saying is that you don't want no smoke with us. We like cancer, like we'll step it up a notch. If you really, really, really trying to start it, like we're gonna finish it. So that was a great way of him representing that. It was a good metaphor. That was a great metaphor.
When I don't post my young bitch, she get to throwing tantrums. And I only want the head if she ain't natural. You can't name a nigga plate that we ain't blasting. We might have the same car, but they ain't faster.
Okay.
And I only want the head if she ain't natural.
So, if I don't post my young bitch, yeah, she throwing tantrums. And I only want the head if she ain't natural, right? So if she's natural, I don't want it. But if she isn't natural, then I do want the head. He a freaky motherfucker. I can tell you, he a freaky motherfucker. That boy like that body and the lips done. That's what it is. That's what it is.
You can't name a nigga plate that we ain't blast on.
You can't name a dude's plate that we ain't blast on, right? So, That's a tough bar, you know, because I'm sure I can name a couple people. I've just met you, and I don't know if you know who, let's say, Eminem, right? Like, I've never heard you and Eminem kind of like go at each other. So bars like that, I take real literal because it's like, I don't know, did you make a diss song about Eminem or did you have beef with Eminem, right? For an example. So it's like, you can't name I just named the person that, again, like, I just don't know. Bars like that, I take real serious because it's like, you can't name a person. It's like, well, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of people that you don't know that don't know you. And it's like, you can technically, you know, but that's a technicality. Now, maybe he's talking about, like people that he's had problems with. What he's saying there is, you can't name a person that I've had problems with that I didn't resolve or I didn't get back at or I didn't finish. You know, in that case, I understand what you're saying.
We might have the same car, but they ain't faster.
We might have the same car, but they ain't faster. So I don't think that actually means cars, right? When I listen to that bar, I listen to, or I hear, we might have the same 24 hours, but you're not doing as good as I am. We might be in the same field, but you're not doing what I'm doing, right? We might have the same age, but I look better, right? I might be more healthy. I got more money, right? So that's what I hear when he says, we might have the same car, but you ain't faster. Like, what? You know, like, I just know what to do with this a little bit more than you do. So, yeah, I don't think he actually means cars. I don't think he actually means car there. But if he does mean cars, then it could just mean that he tunes his cars up more than the next person because he got more money than the next person. So
Have the same car, but they ain't faster. Look, bitch, you ain't no Eve and I ain't Adam. I can't do no verse for free, bitch, I hate rappers. If you got that shit for cheap, then we try and snatch them. We try and snatch them. Look, a whole lot of gold bottles. You know Benjamin Franklin, my only role model. Grant Jackson Franklin, my only role models. 2 jits, 2 glizzes, and about 4 choppers.
Okay.
If you got that shit for cheap, then we try and snatch them. Look, bitch, you ain't no Eve and I ain't Adam.
Bitch, you ain't no Eve and I ain't Adam, right? Adam and Eve, you know, bit the apple, you know, and then died, right? So it's kind of like she got the apple up, like, I had to take a bite of this, you know? Just kind of trying to poison him, right? Trying to corrupt him. And I'm not Adam. Even if you were, I'm not Adam, right? So I'm not the guy to fuck around with. I'm not the guy you gonna mess around with. I'm just not that guy, pal. And that's how I understand that.
I can't do no verse for free, bitch, I hate rappers.
I can't do no verse for free, bitch. I hate rappers. I'm sure rappers nowadays, you know, yo, can you do a verse on here? Yo, can you do a verse? Can you do a verse? Can you do a verse? Right? Some people say yeah. Some people are like, hell no, give me at least $250. Right? That's what I hear the numbers for a verse. $250,000 for a fucking verse. So, you know, some people don't got that. Some people can't afford that for a verse.
If you got that shit for cheap, then we try and snatch them.
If you got that shit for cheap, then we trying to snatch them. I'm gonna assume that's the word, the drugs, the this and the that, right? If you got it for cheap, then come on, send it this way, right? Because rule number 1, I think, in business is buy low, sell high. So if you got it for cheap, buy low, so he can sell it higher.
We try and snatch them. Look, a whole lot of gold bottles. You know Benjamin Franklin, my only role model.
A whole lot of gold bottles, representation of a lot of money. And then Benjamin Franklin's my only role model, right? The bills. The Benjis, you know what I'm saying? So bills, money, right? That's my only role model. So I only look up to the money.
Grant Jackson Franklin, my only role models. 2 jits, 2 glizzes, and about 4 choppers.
2 jit, 2 glizzes, and about 4 choppers. You know, a small crew is pretty much what he's saying, but he gets a lot done. I like it. I like that. You know why I like it? Glizzes and 4 choppers. I thought the priest was gonna have a more significant role, but he kind of just stared at the camera in this video, I'll be honest. I'm not sure what the cross and the mask is, but that's scary. We're gonna ignore that. I don't even want you to look at. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, no, I don't like shit like that. Scary, y'all. Scary, a scary world. So, yeah, y'all. You know, I think that he did a good job with this one. I think that there was a lot of like bars and a lot of metaphors that definitely go missed or misunderstood if you ain't sitting there breaking it down. But yeah, y'all, that's that. That was really good, and we'll definitely listen to another one from him. I actually subscribed, and I'm actually to do the same, man. Like, share, and subscribe. hit the notification button. I put out daily, and that way you get alerted every time I put out a video. You might be sleeping, but when you wake up, you'll see the notification saying, hey, he just posted 7 more videos. Hey, he just posted 3 more videos. So yeah, all right, I appreciate y'all. Thank you as always. Lend a helping hand. 2 hands are better than 1, but 3 is always gonna be better than none. Stay safe out there. God bless you, and I'm out of here, my boys. Yo, take it easy, man. Much love.